Welcome to the HOLDO MANEUVER podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Mike. We're two hardworking dads trying to immerse ourselves into Star Wars and fit it into our very busy lives.
If this is your first time listening and or watching, in this sometimes short-form Star Wars podcast, we'll share our thoughts on different topics from a galaxy far, far away. So join us as we prepare to execute the HOLDO Maneuver.
He's back.
Hey,
I was worried.
we ruined the illusion because of liveness. It's all right. Zero
Of
people are
liveness.
watching anyways, so
It's okay.
this will only matter when people watch this back in the future. So, but yeah,
Then we can make up any kind of magic we want.
we are one with the
Magic.
Force. The Force is with us. But yeah, so this is episode 51 of the Hold the Maneuver podcast. You heard Mike and I introduce us from New York, and then by the magic of everything, I'm
Through
here.
hyperspace.
So Aspen joined us last week because she is a Ahsoka expert,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
Soccer expert, you know.
Wait, sorry. Before you introduce Kenny, quick question. So when you filmed that, you were in New York together, or you're just like hanging with each other? Like
Well, in a sense.
yeah, for reasons not for because
Not to divulge too much information.
what?
Yeah.
We're so
No.
cryptic. Yes.
Well,
no.
there's a reason why he was in New York.
yeah, it was back
And-
in March.
Murder. Oh, what?
Well,
Well, in a sense, you could say murder, but
There
more just death in general.
yeah, there was death involved.
Okay. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. My dad would think that was funny.
Great. Just like nailed it. Hole in one, Aspen. Just like,
It's all right.
listen, I'm part of the club, man.
Yeah, it's all right. We've made you feel uncomfortable before, so
That just means more dad jokes are coming.
Yeah, right.
all the dad jokes in this are in honor of all the shitty dad jokes my dad told me growing up. So
Incre-
There were a lot.
yeah, and I passed them on to my own son.
As penance, you can tell us many
As
bad jokes
penance?
as you want. For me, my penance to you is I will allow you to absolutely terrorize me with all of the puns and dad jokes for the next hour.
I know that
Terrorize.
I know that I was supposed to say the dad joke, but I feel like that's an excellent transition to have Mark say our dad joke today.
He's bailing on the joke.
He's battling organo.
I'm thinking about show structure. Aspen knows me. Aspen knows that I think about structure a lot.
Shape of
You
show.
are a researcher,
Shape of
sir.
show. Shape of show.
Kenny knows that we're only 4 minutes into this and possibly already going off the rails.
Shape of show.
There were rails. We had rails.
Yeah, so guys, what was Kanan Jarrus's favorite Life Day song?
I don't know what's the song they sing at the end of that crappy movie.
Crappy movie. Yeah, it's the song that B. Arthur sings.
Yeah, that one.
It's her Cantina song. Cantina.
Those are all good answers. I see that Kenny's still thinking though.
He's researching.
Ghost.
Just Ghost
Ghost.
Hark
from the movie Ghost.
Yes, Patrick Swayze. Hark the Hera angels sing.
Breathing exercises. Breathing exercises.
This is for the herring and pure.
I'm so excited.
Pause.
I'm so excited of you.
And for those listening on a podcast, you probably didn't hear me do the ASL.
Oh, Mark, I thought
but-
that much
Or I was
like
doing jazz
Kanan,
hands.
much like Kanan, whenever he's trapped somewhere, he would be Hera impaired.
That's true. Do you guys know what Ezra? Do you guys know what Ezra's favorite cartoon was growing up?
Uh.
Sabine, Ren, and Stimpy.
It's really funny. I don't know why I like that one so much.
They're just coming at you hot and hard right here.
Do you know what you can do?
Just like the lava on Mustafar.
I was going to say on the planet of Lothal, the sun is really bright. You guess what you can do there?
Loth around.
You can get a tan. No.
Do you know what Harrison Dua's favorite movie quote is?
Get off my plane.
No, that would be Han Solo's favorite movie quote. Harrison Dua's favorite movie quote is "Get to the chopper."
We're gonna have to There's 8 episodes of Ahsoka. We're gonna have to reuse some of these over the next few weeks.
Yeah,
just play this. Just don't even reuse them.
Yeah, we'll just record this and we'll play this in the front of the next few episodes.
I mean, without all of these dad jokes, there might be a lot of dead air to the Empire.
Oh God.
We've really thrown this out to its full extension. Yep.
I just gotta let this one.
Oh,
I gotta let this
percolate.
One percolate. Yeah.
Yeah. Say Mike bleeped you. he bleeped the perg.
Yes. Bleeps my perg. Oh God! Wow. I have to really have to be like better prepared for the kind of like mental damage this does to me.
I know, it's leaving you, basically it's just tearing you apart. You're just like a collection of Imperial remnants.
Oh my God. Okay. You have to stop. Okay. Yeah. As you know what? So Kenny, as your friend, there's a thing that's I know about Kenny, as you, Mark and Mike know things about each other, is that Kenny will take a bit so far until it is just ground into nothingness. So I'm going to stop the bit right now.
Stop the bit.
We're stopping the bit. You look offended. Oh, did you?
No. So, yes, Aspen is here. Kenny is here. Welcome back. You guys were here for the Mando season premiere 2 for season 3 for that. Before we really get into talking about the Ahsoka series premiere for episodes 1 and 2 of that, based off of the season 3 premiere of Mando and the series premiere of Ahsoka, which one did you guys like more? I'll ask Kenny first because I'm assuming I know what Aspen's answer is.
What happened to the series this season?
Well, there was also Purgle in the Mando season 3 premiere.
Oh yes, there was that lovely.
There was not Purgle in this season premiere.
Oh, technically there was. It was in episode 2, but it was
there was
not the premiere.
That's technically the premiere. They dropped both of them the same day.
Premiere.
They called it the 2-episode premiere.
Where was the Purgle?
Oh, it was an
2?
animation of a Purgle.
Oh,
right.
Technicality, no bamboo over.
You can see one in the clouds.
Oh.
On the planet that has the Outlander stones.
Oh, you know what? While we were watching that, my partner was just like, "Is he looking at Purgle?" And I was like, "I didn't say any Purgle." But okay, yeah. Knew it.
I do have to say that I preferred. I preferred the Mando season 3 premiere.
Is that because of the advanced chair sitting that Bo-Katan does?
Look, Aspen can verify. While watching Ahsoka, I texted to her, there is a captain's chair in this show that makes this the best Star Wars show, period. Because there's a straight up center seat on the Rebel ship. Sorry, New Republic ship.
Yeah, you did. Sorry, I'm looking at the text. That's right.
That's okay. We've had a very eventful text day.
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of texts here. Yeah, he also, I'll just read a couple of texts. 56 minutes, too long for this episode. Be shorter. But the
Be
ship,
shorter.
but the ship does have a captain's chair. It's Star Trekky, so already this is the best Star Wars show. No notes. That's true.
He stopped watching right then and there.
Yeah, he was
No,
like, "This is great. I'm done."
I happily watched both episodes.
You happily watch, but you preferred The Mandalorian.
I did. Yeah.
It's an interesting comparison.
Mhm.
Oh, you want to know what I thought?
No.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You would.
That's why I asked.
Kenny doesn't want to know.
Oh, I
this-
very much want to know. I'm
This is the
I'm
HOLDO
excited.
maneuver. It's not Trek Wars.
Yeah. So the HOLDO maneuver boys, they get to decide what the answer is.
Yeah, final say. You're graciously giving us that.
Yeah, this is part of my penance. They can tell me what to do. Fun fact, the other part of this text conversation was Kenny then said, Ahsoka seems stoic. And I was like, this is what I was afraid of. And then I had a breakdown before even watching it.
Did you really? I
Well,
was scared. I was scared for you because I didn't want to color, because I got to the episodes before you did, and I didn't want to color your perception too much before you were able to sit down with you and your partner Joel.
That's my partner. His name is Joel.
His name is Joel.
Kenny learned that this week.
Yeah, for the first time.
Ederson. He plays Uncle Owen.
Yep, Joel Edgerton. That's him.
Yeah.
I was really, I was like listening back to our episode, and I think I had even said this where I was like, I'm going to have to accept that this perhaps this is a different type of Ahsoka than, my Ahsoka. There is a sort of, I was like, Ahsoka is measured, and at this like point in her life, she's going to be. It's going to be different than like younger Ahsoka. But my fear was, she's going to be like stoic in a like unjoyful, very Jedi type of way. And so I was, this is very funny. I loved these two episodes. I loved them. Literally that first one was, you said it was like 56 minutes. It like ended, and like we'll talk about it, but like very excitingly, and I was like, oh, okay, so there's gonna be more, and then it ended, and I was like, it was supposed to be 56 minutes. It can't be done yet. And then I was like, 56 minutes just flew by for me. I was so into it, and I loved the second one too. So I loved it. I can get into a little bit more, but that's my first impression of it. I will tell you my quick thing. It is less of an Ahsoka show, and it is more of a Rebels show. So it's almost like in our recap, we should just go through Rebels season 4.
Oh yeah. Although I do think Dave Filoni said for people to prepare for Ahsoka, he said just to watch season. Or did you say that?
Just watch
Mike
season
said
4.
that, yeah. And I was
So
like,
just watch season 4 of Rebels.
and I didn't even think about that. And then I was like,
I loved that last stretch of 6 or 8 episodes of the last season of Rebels. It was absolutely exquisite. It's been a while since I've watched Rebels, but that is the one animated show that I have made my way through the entirety of, and I'm saving Clone Wars for I guess pretty soon for the Trek Wars podcast.
Question for you guys: when you guys watch that for Trek Wars, are you gonna? Well, I know that for Trek Wars, you release stuff in a release order.
Yeah.
But for Clone Wars, are you gonna watch that in chronological order? Because they've released like a list of how you can watch that way. I was just wondering if you were gonna make the choice to watch that chronological.
we do release date chronological order. So whenever it's released is when
No
we do it.
leeway.
No
And that's-
leeway.
That seems to have worked out unusually well.
Yeah.
Like I am surprised at how much serendipity there has been between the two properties that has allowed us to talk about thematic connections. It's truly bizarre.
It is really bizarre. It's like kismet in it. We do break it sometimes when I'm like, can you please?
Oh,
I've
yeah.
watched Ewoks for too long.
Although we're so close to being done with that first season, and
But-
then we should blaze through season 2.
Yeah, man. But yes, we will. Then we'll start with the oh my god, why can I never remember that guy's name? The first Clone Wars, the
Gendy Tartakovsky.
the Tartakovsky ones, and then we'll hop into like Clone Wars.
Yeah.
With
Okay.
Ahsoka.
Where they
Very
dropped
excited.
the
Yeah,
It was cleaner.
just
It's
oh,
like the Facebook.
can I real quick? Sorry, I'm about to tell someone else's story, but there is not Kenny's story. This is so off topic. Yeah, like whose story? My story. There's another guy who's like a writer and like actor who was talking about working on Ash versus Evil Dead, like as a writer, and then Sam Raimi told him a story about working with a particular producer who had like done apparently like Evil Dead was originally supposed to be called The Book of the Dead, which makes sense, right? Because it's about, oh hi, it's me talking. And the story is that like the producer came up and he was like an Italian American. He's just like, no, okay, you get rid of the because like that tells me nothing, and you get rid of books because books are boring and no one likes to read, and get rid of and the because those are boring too. So you're either going to give me like it's going to be Evil Dead or some other dead, and then people are going to actually want to watch it. So by that same logic, we got rid of the, and now people actually are like, Clone Wars sounds fancy. Thank you. That was my story. That wasn't my story at all.
But you're sticking to it?
This is the story I'm sticking to. It's true. Hey. What were we talking about? Talking about Sam Raimi?
Well, we're talking about our first impressions of Ahsoka, and the Holdo Maneuver boys haven't said what their first impressions of these apps are. Not that it's my show.
I'll let Mike go first.
Sorry.
I need to go first. Having never seen anything but 2 episodes of Rebels so far, I enjoyed them because there was enough mystery there for me to be like, okay, I need to learn more here. I felt in the recaps I've watched of Ahsoka, she was way too stoic. I agree with that. I felt they kind of toned it down, maybe because she's older, wiser. I don't know. Visually, it was nice. I enjoyed some of the effects. Her running looked weird. I don't know if anyone else felt that. Anytime she ran, I was like, it just doesn't look right. I enjoyed the opening crawl, having that back in red.
Oh my God, yes.
The second episode flew by for me. Not the first one did not. The second one did. Maybe because I watched the first one when I was dead ass tired, but the second one, I don't know. I started and then over. I was like, "Whoa, that's it." Like, no. Maybe nothing happened. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I got to go back and rewatch it still. But
excuse me.
I have not made my decision yet on why the second one flew by.
Well, it was shorter than the first episode.
Yeah, the first one was. Truly
So was her hair at the end. It means nothing.
Sabine.
Sabine, right before she was sitting there. Sorry, I just got to say this real quick. She was sitting there. She was on her knees. She was like looking, and she pulled out a knife and went. She's about to Mulan it. She's about to. Her hair. You know, in Mulan, she takes her father's sword. She just chops off her hair.
Kanan'd it.
Kanan also did that. We should Mulan Kanan it.
So
I'm okay with Mulan.
They have hyperdrives and robots and stuff, but do they have scissors?
Haven't seen any.
What was a vibra?
Nope,
it was a vibra blade.
She blades her hair off.
I don't think I've seen any scissors in Star Wars.
I mean, Mulan was with Boba Fett, so I mean.
Oh, no way! Yeah, she was.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
In the book of Boba Fett.
Books.
And have you watched that yet?
Oh yeah.
Me?
The book of Boba Fett.
I have not watched Book of Boba Fett. No, I watched the first 5 minutes, and I was just like, "This probably isn't for me."
It's fine. She's Fennec Shaw. She was also in Mandalorian. He shot her in the stomach.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Ahsoka also in Book of Boba Fett.
Famously.
Yeah. So yes, I also enjoyed these episodes quite a bit. I like everyone's kind of said it is. Yeah, Sylvie did too. It is kind of tentatively kind of season 5-ish of Rebels, but like if the main character of Rebels was now Ahsoka, just because the main character
wasn't she though?
Well, no, Ezra was the main character of Rebels. She didn't show up until season 2, even though technically Fulcrum was around in season 1.
Fulcrum was in this episode. They said it.
Yeah, I liked that. But we also got David Tennant back in here too.
Oh,
We had
yeah.
a few people I put this in the notes for like episode 2, but there was a few people who did their voices in the animated Rebels that reprised those roles, like Clancy Brown reprised his role from Rebels in this. Chopper famously reprising his role. David Tennant also reprising.
Was Dave Filoni Chopper in this episode?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Dave Filoni's always.
I didn't.
Chopper. Or no, Chopper's always
Hey.
himself.
Chopper's
Chopper's listed as himself.
That's
Is
what,
that like R2D2 in the holiday special?
and also in droids, it always says an R2D2 as himself in droids.
That's right.
Do you think that Dave Filoni is going to use his Ahsoka money now to build a proper chopper,
A proper chopper?
which I did not intend to come out into the structure of a dad joke?
Proper Chopper.
Will there be a tangible tactile chopper just like there was a tangible tactile Lothcat?
It was
Oh.
chopped from the budget.
Oh my god.
Well, there is a tangible Chopper.
He-
Yeah, that Chopper's real. He was on the set of Rogue One when Rebels was on TV, and what's her name? Andy Gutierrez did all the like the Rebels recon stuff. They had Rob Chopper going around all the time in that too.
I got the impression in the show that Chopper was both like that Lothcat, who is my best friend. That Lothcat is my pride and joy. I kept getting so anxious. I'd be like, well, if Sabine leaves, who will take care of her cat? So the cat, but the
Also, that
Lothcat-
cat was trapped up there.
I know, right? I was like, he's up there. He can't get down. Who's going to feed him? He doesn't just have like his own self-feeding. She has to like pour him out his little kibble. Anyway, he was both. He was like a combo of CG and like animatronic. And that's what I thought Chopper was. I thought there were like moments where he was like mechanical, and then other moments where like he needed to be more CG, especially when he was like, wow, waving his arms around. That was, but I don't know. Those were my eyes.
I agree with that.
I thought that happened with Ahsoka a couple of times too.
Yeah, she was
With her head.
she was
Yeah.
CG and yeah.
Yeah, I think they're still getting like each time she's shown up, they've kind of had like a different kind of head like makeup, like headpiece for Rosario Dawson. I've noticed because like in like the first time she showed up, like her
Lethu.
hair,
Lethu.
her Lethu and her tendrils.
Yeah, it's
her-
like tendrils.
But
Be
like the Lethu have been like varying lengths. Like in
Well,
Rebels,
it grows over
and-
time. Maybe
Well,
she can get
yes,
it
but
cut.
that's
I
why
don't
it's
know.
that's why it's weird.
Sorry, it's
That's like
Leku.
part-
I was like, it's Leku. Lothal Leku. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, it's actually, not to interrupt. The way that it works for them is actually the older they get, the longer it gets. But obviously, it'd be very hard to do like stunts and stuff like physically for a show with them as long as they should be at that age. So they've been like dealing with different lengths and trying to get it right.
yeah, because I think like at the end of Rebels, they were like down quite a bit.
Yeah,
and like now
really
they're
long.
like
Yeah,
kind of like
trying to figure it out. Yeah, I think it's the struggle between like what can be reasonable to be able to do all those stunts and like not have it get in the way and swing around, and then also be true to the character.
That's true.
Wow. What was that? Just came up.
Gustavo Marx says you're a tangible chopper.
So you're looking
There
for
you
a
go.
tangible chopper. Kidding. Incredible.
I accept it.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to be a tangible chopper?
I want to touch him. I want to just touch him. Here's little buddy. Yeah, sorry.
No, you guys want to start talking about the episode?
We have been.
Oh.
Yeah, like official talk. Official
Mark,
talk.
did you say if you liked it or not?
Yeah.
Said I liked it.
Oh, well,
enjoyed
say it again.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Oh,
What Mike said though too, like
And-
about the opening crawl, I liked that they had an opening crawl to kind of catch up people a little bit. It reminded me of Blade Runner, with like how it was like laid out rather than like the kind of vertically just like ascending into space. It was just like the Blade Runner slow, left aligned.
yes, left aligned.
And then just like slowly going up. But it did follow like the same structure of like all capitalized like nouns of certain things in there. The 3 paragraphs, the 4, the ellipses, and then a period at the end of it. So I liked all of that. And then it was red too, because you always knew when the Clone Wars logo was red that was going to be a heavy episode.
Yes. Yes. It's true. It's exactly what it was like.
Heavy episode.
Heavy. Yeah, I would say the whole first bit, to me, I was like, as a Star Wars child, I was like giggling, because it's an interesting sort of thing where Dave Filoni is like a real Star Wars obsessive. Like, he's like us, and he's like getting to make his own fan fiction, basically, that is, whatever we've decided canon has become. And so literally the crawl, the first shot of this ship, the music, the bridge, like the having like this Lambda like ship come in, like everything about it was so deeply Star Wars feeling that it was a joy for me. Like, and I think, and it's not like what Kenny calls member berries. Like, it doesn't feel like it's being
Member berries.
Isn't that what it's called? I don't know.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I did not create the term. I'm stealing it
It's
from
South Park.
That it's like,
But
it's
Star Wars has been very guilty of
right.
that. They are
Yeah.
guilty of that.
That, could you describe it?
Describe it. For instance, in The Force Awakens, a movie that I do not like, whenever they show the Millennium Falcon for the first time, Rey says, "The garbage scout will do," and then the camera pulls back, and it shows the Millennium Falcon for the first time, and the music pumps in, and the audience is cheering because you're like, "Yes, the Millennium Falcon!" But this means nothing to the characters, and so the film is telling you this is important only because you remember it, as opposed to it feeling anyway for the characters.
Yeah. So I think,
or whenever Finn pulls out the little probe droid, the little blaster doodad,
right,
in there,
like, you could accuse this of it, but I think it's just being consistent with a thematic feeling, right? Like musically, kind of visually, making it cohesive. That's how I felt watching it. So, but I can also see like the accusation being like holding true, but me feeling like very like that kind of, it almost made me feel like I was like a kid, which is joy,
The volume
So-
feels like the vacuum this series. Just so empty.
The volume, which is the background.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's coming in from from someone's comment.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yes, Kenny.
Yeah.
Now, before we go into specifics, I must say the question that was posited to me was, which did I like better? The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere or the Ahsoka premiere? And I said the Mandalorian Season 3 premiere. Now, can you make me big in the screen? Make me big in the screen.
Yeah, hold on.
Make me big in the screen. real
Make
quick.
me
I got
big.
it.
Make me
I
big
have been-
emotionally.
I've been so excited to talk about this. These 2 episodes.
Here, we'll do this.
Wow, it's just
solo
you.
you.
Kenny, it's
Right.
just you.
Though I want to see my friends in the frame too. Please let me see my friends in the frame. Thank you. I've been since I watched these 2 episodes, I've been genuinely excited. And prior to our recording, I wanted to say 2 things to my co-host and friend, my dear friend, Aspen Webster. Number 1, while listening to last week's HOLDO Maneuver episode L, one, the sheer amount of knowledge and passion that Aspen has for the character of Ahsoka Tano. I'm a huge Star Trek nerd. I'm a huge Star Trek nerd. The Star Trek contingent of the Trek Wars podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. And Aspen, I feel, is the equivalent of that, but just about Ahsoka Tano. It was jaw-dropping the amount that you knew and was able to not just pull out the small minutia regarding Ahsoka, but the emotional connection so drastic and so incredible with that character in a way that I just do not have. I've yet to get there because I am not involved in the Clone Wars TV series yet, though I have watched all of Rebels. That was enthralling. And point number 2, I was not aware that you are also a recent convert to Ahsoka Tano. I was not aware that you watching Clone Wars was a pandemic project. That was thrilling. It's just, I'm really excited to talk about these 2 episodes because I felt a feeling that I haven't felt about Star Wars in a very long time with these 2 episodes, which was sheer vitriol.
Against what?
This is
Bait and switch.
very rarely do I pull out these guns because I like to approach media through a lens of positivity because I think that there is far too much negativity. That being said, if this is the direction that Star Wars is going, count me out. It is so tired. It is so devoid of character, of energy, of anything to say about the human experience or the condition. Not that every piece of media has to, but if you are choosing not to have a point of view, then you had better fill your thing with a lot of splendor. And these 2 episodes were so completely devoid of anything that was splendid or exceptional, except for maybe a couple points here and there. But they were so few and far between, to the point where I literally screamed in frustration at the television screen that I was watching Ahsoka on because the editing was so bad. It was so exceptionally bad that it was sapping the energy between the characters out. It felt like Dave Filoni was bringing his love of the prequels literally to these 2 episodes to the point where it is now executing the dramatic rhythms that no one likes about the Star Wars prequels to these 2 episodes, completely devoid of emotion between all of the characters. No characters had energy, emotion, there was no connection to them, and it left me so frustrated to the point where all these characters, which, make no mistake, I really enjoyed Rebels. It was a show that I really enjoyed, but now they are completely lifeless robots that are the stoic badasses that fanboys have been craving ever since Mandalorian debuted. And it feels so cynical. It feels so awful. And I was angry. I was angry in a way that I haven't been in a very long time regarding a piece of media. I hated it. I hated these 2 episodes.
You weren't alone.
I disagree. Disagree.
Thank you. You can make me small. That is fine.
Oh my gosh. For what it's worth, this is really interesting for you Holdo dudes. I would say Kenny and I never actively disagree too hard on anything. Like we sort of disagree. Like I'll be like, I just didn't like it. He'll be like, that's fine. It's the first time we've ever deeply disagree.
I think that these two episodes are the worst Star Wars that I have seen since Rise of Skywalker, and at least Rise of Skywalker had energy.
Man.
Wow. What's it like to be so wrong, Kenny?
I understand. I'm excited for you to explain why I am wrong. That being said, these two episodes are about finding a map to point to a character that dramatically within the context of this show we have not seen. We do not understand the relationship except for what is told to us, and we cannot feel it. I know who Thrawn is. I know all of that stuff. But this is a new show with new interpretations of these characters.
I would say it's not. Like, here's the thing. I think what you're bringing up is a very good point, which is this is probably inaccessible to anyone who has not actually watched Rebels or cared about it.
False.
Really? Like, I mean, you haven't. So
I have not watched Rebels, no.
Okay. So,
but I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't find this to the level that Kenny thinks it's bad. Like, I enjoyed this, and there's a mystery behind it that I want to learn more. But he makes a good point on the acting choices, and it did feel low. Like, there's no energy. It was just like we're reading lines. But if you go back to the way Star Wars was, that's what Lucas always did.
No, it's not.
It is. Look at the prequels. The acting is terrible in the prequels.
Look at the prequels, but you look back at Star Wars.
Alec Guinness was good,
and that thing is zipping by.
That's editing. I'm not talking about editing
because of Lucas's direction of faster, more intense. Because he basically understood that you can simulate energy by literally saying things faster and more intense. It is baked into a portion of Star Wars, yes, and Star Wars can also be whatever it wants to be. But the prequels are directed at an interesting point in George Lucas's life where he was much more interested in the technology and kind of reclaiming his ground,
right?
Versus telling dramatically engaging stories. He was interested in telling things, and I think the execution was mired in other baggage. But to say that, and I think that there are I think that there are good things about the prequels, but to say that those movies are dramatically successful, I think that is untrue.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, like, part of what going into this, like what I came out of it, what I said halfway through is I was just like, I have to be like, this is a different Ahsoka for me because she is too stoic for me.
She's taller.
She's taller. Ahsoka
she seems more lively.
She's a tiny little buddy. She's just a tiny little dude. And I don't think that truly, in terms of like from an acting choice or perspective, just because someone is older doesn't mean that they're now suddenly like more like self-serious. And I think there is a sort of self-seriousness to this that is like, okay, like a little kind of like I would have enjoyed like people having a little more fun, because the joy of Rebels, the joy of what I like went on and on about what I love about Ahsoka, I think is her pure, like what I think is almost like joie de vivre. Like, and I think at this point, if I'm just going, I think at this point,
I mean, you very often described Ahsoka as the nanny of the Star Wars universe, the Fran Fine of the
the Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
No, the Fran Fine from The Nanny. The TV show The Nanny.
Yeah,
Fran Drescher was the nanny.
No, Fran Fine was the nanny. Fran Drescher played Fran Fine.
He's the head of the WGA. Everybody support the writer and actor.
Ahsoka would always just come in with like truly amazing outfits, and yet no one respected or understood them at the time.
I mean,
that tube top.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, and see, my relationship.
No 12-year-old should ever wear a tube top.
Right. I mean, I could have probably done.
Well, also. No, I'm probably not going to chill.
As someone who has experienced a lot of vitriol about art, particularly about films like Rogue One, which everybody hates me for hating.
And I also agree with you, Aspen. I don't think that Rogue One is that good.
For very similar reasons. The spaces that I would agree with you on are, I think it's dangerous to be like, you can only be engaging. I mean, because yeah, it sounds like, Mike, you were like, I can be into this and I can see where it goes without maybe having the context. But in terms of emotional connectivity, like, which means a lot to me, if I did not have that before coming into this show, I probably would be a little bit like, this is leaving me cold. But because I had a tremendous amount of investment, a person who feels I can remember things so well, I can like call those details to mind about Ahsoka because I have strong emotions connected with them. So it did emotionally affect me. And I think there is like a scary place we can go where that's the only kind of content that there can be, is that it's made by fanboys like Dave, who's great. But like, that's probably why Andor, that's why people like lose their minds about Andor. It was not written by people like me. It was not written by a Star Wars fanboy. It was written by someone who took an idea and probably really like Star Wars, but not to like to the degree of like Filoni literally is like the apprentice of George Lucas. What? There's a dog. Yeah.
Perhaps not to commandeer the show.
Sorry, guys.
Because I don't.
No, you're good.
Please, make no mistake.
I can mute you guys at any point.
That's fine. I don't want to poo-poo on anyone's enjoyment. I just had to articulate just
your anger.
Vitriol.
Because it is a sensation that I have not felt for a long time.
There was a disturbance in the Force. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It was a presence that I haven't felt since
like 10 years
and
ago.
it was such an alien experience for me to be yelling about Star Wars again, because I haven't done that since my 20s. And then the point where I screamed at the TV. And again, I say this more to articulate my own emotional, because Dave Filoni, probably a good guy.
Got a little hat.
Here's the thing. Here's what's great about it. He wears his little hat. He cares about this stuff deeply. But the point,
where's his little hat?
The point where I screamed is where Sabine has the map.
Yeah.
And then after this, I can stop complaining, because please make no mistake, I don't want to commandeer the show. But Sabine is fiddling with the little map, because there's a map, because these 2 episodes are about a map. And the camera seems to linger on her fiddling with the map in a Rubik's Cube-like fashion.
It was a complicated map.
What feels like 30 seconds. I understand. I love a good long take. That's great. But there has to be something going on dramatically. Some sense of tension, something within the frame. And instead, it just felt like it was holding on this shot for a reason that I genuinely cannot understand, to the point where the tension just evaporated and the propulsion and the energy from the scene just completely evaporated. I had to scream of just being like, get on with it, because we need to get to the next point, which is figure out where are we going? What's the thing? Let's get to the thing. And now
this red line is where we're going.
Established.
This red line is where they're going.
Yeah.
My greatest hope is the galaxy far, far away. Where Thrawn is our galaxy. But in the past, because it's a long time ago.
Well, see, to bust out my Star Wars cred, I was like, are they setting up the Utes and Vong right now? Is that what they're about to do? The Utes and Vong from the Star Wars, The New Jedi Order, where, because they just kept repeating the dialogue about the New Republic versus the Imperial remnants, and then the New Jedi Order came out and was just like, that's done. The new enemies are the Utes and Vong, and they're these cool organic baddies. And I was just like, they're from a different galaxy.
That'd be cool. Sorry, a comment just came up. I love that you keep putting the comments on the screen. I love it, because it is actually a thought I did have. Sorry, to just go right back to me.
No.
I did have a bit of a hi. I did have a bit of, so I will say, with all of the past emotional like baggage and like history that I do know about Ahsoka in this past about her, I did then have a moment where I was like, I have to be okay with my favorite character also being in a space where she is very sad and hurt and is probably managing a heap of trauma and perhaps not well from what I can see, perhaps not well. And there can be this element of going through so much, being hurt so many times and betrayed, but then also finding people and then losing people. And like, there was a point where it kind of was made clear that, so she had taken on Sabine as like an apprentice. And then she left her, which to me made a lot of sense from like a character perspective, given what she's gone through. And I kind of actually dug that when I started to shift my mindset about like what it would mean as like in the aftermath of that kind of pain. Like after you've won the war, what does it mean? It's almost like you can never stop fighting, because what are you if you're not fighting anymore and you're not having these challenges? So I did dig that for the, like, I kind of like forgave a lot of, because there's a lot of terrible shit that happened to everybody, you know? And it's not just like, we
True.
did it, let's like dance with the Ewoks, you know? Like, it's like, holy crap. Yeah, like Kanan died, Ezra, we thought he died, like all this horrific stuff happened. She found out that Anakin was Vader, like all this stuff, like they like won the war, but what does it mean for them? Again, this is all background that I have. And yeah, so I come into it with that deep emotional thing. So that kind of like a biting question around it. So
Also, Sabine got stabbed with a lightsaber and then was just better the next episode, instantly, and that was frustrating.
They learned a lot since Qui-Gon Jinn. They did.
Listen, if Maul can be chopped in half, survive, I guess it's fine.
I think it's just all about decisions. Do we save this person or do we not? And everyone else besides Qui-Gon Jinn was like, yes, we save this person. Qui-Gon Jinn was like, screw that guy.
And also, if Qui-Gon had survived, that would have affected the trajectory of everything that happened after that. So for the story to happen the way that it did, Qui-Gon Jinn could not survive the events of
He had to go make Taken.
Yeah, he was taken from the Star Wars universe.
Let's just go make that one film,
which
none others.
Which, speaking of the Star Wars universe, has always been kind of synonymous with great music, and I liked that Kevin Kiner came back, who did the score for Rebels and for Clone Wars, and was doing the score for Ahsoka, and that was one of the things that really stood out and was like a highlight to me from these episodes was Kevin Kiner's score, especially like when we see Baylan and Shin show up on the ship at the beginning of the episode, and it's brought up a little bit higher than usually sometimes the score is in different scenes. So I liked that. I also liked that Shin had a Padawan braid, but Mike had a
it wasn't rat tail enough.
Yeah.
Needed to be more rat tail.
Padawan braid coming through.
I wish her bangs had just been braided.
I saw, I don't remember what the actress's name is, but I saw that she said that she told like the hair and makeup to just kind of fray them, like they were just like she'd cut them like just
with
a knife and just
yeah. And then I also thought that I liked that like Baylan and Shin's intro kind of felt like a inversion of the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon start of episode 1, but it's just
that's exactly what I was thinking. Yes, in Phantom Menace, exactly.
Now with the score, talking about that, the initial music, and I think it's in the credits, I'm not a fan of whatever they did there. Not a fan.
Like the opening credits?
I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head if it was opening or ending, but it's just like, it made me want to just turn it off immediately when I heard the sounds.
Or do you mean like the kind of like the drum, kind of like the?
I think it's the post credits. Whatever that piece is called needs to be changed. I just turn it off immediately.
So wait, yeah. So like in the first episode, they do that thing where it's like the credits happen at the end, and then it's going to be the credits at the beginning for every episode moving forward. Is it the one with like all the names and stuff? Those credits, or is it something else?
I'll have to research it and let people know. It's just there's a moment that's happened in both episodes where I'm like, this score is garbage. I need to turn it off.
Well,
but there's only like certain song, only a certain composition.
Something specific. Maybe there's like a frequency that only
Probably
you can hear. Like
yeah,
how
it might be.
Like yeah, you know, like how like, the older you get, you can't hear those higher frequencies younger people can hear, but it's like that, but different.
Darth tinnitus.
Yeah, I will tell you, it's no boom, 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 which I do love. That is always going to be really great. Yeah.
I was gonna say I just liked the visuals that we got like the beginning of this too, like even if this was done in the volume, it didn't some of it didn't feel like it was done in the volume as much as a lot of Obi-Wan definitely felt that it was shot in the volume. Some of the stuff in here I couldn't tell if they shot it somewhere else or like on a bigger soundstage, or
it felt like whenever Ahsoka is at the temple at the beginning, I was wondering if that might have been a miniature, and that was just a mixture of things plus CG plus miniature plus other compositing things. That would be cool. There was a tactility there that I was like, interesting.
It did feel very tactile, just like that Loth cat and
yes.
Chopper.
And if anyone's ever been to Galaxy's Edge, they have a animatronic Loth cat at Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, I'm gonna go steal it.
That looks exactly like, it looks like they took it from Galaxy's Edge and put it into the show.
That cat is mine. Which one? Orlando or Anaheim?
Well, probably both. Really I've only been to Anaheim.
So she can say that cat is mine again. Just make
right, that cat is mine.
While we're on the cat, there is I'm looking at a plot summary, and one line it just says Sabine goes to the tower and feeds her Loth cat.
Listen, that was written.
That's the whole bullet point. Like, okay, guess that's what happened there.
A cat lover wrote that. They were like, "Do you know how important it is to feed your cat?" Well, I think also represents Sabine's deep abiding loneliness and her desire to isolate herself from the world because she's going through a lot of grief that she's never actually able to deal with well. Because I think every time someone tries to become a Jedi to deal with their grief, it never fucking works.
Grief Karga?
Grief Karga, yeah.
And who tells their story?
Or draws their cat all over everything. Every place she goes draws a cat.
Yeah. I also, I liked music. I'm thinking about this some more. It is very it almost feels like a cartoon. And I don't mean that in a bad way by any means. And this is what I started to say about The Mandalorian too, is it feels like I'm watching a live action cartoon. And here's the thing, I don't hate it. I like the ability to watch different things that have different feels to them and give me different things. Like there is a real joy in being able to access different types of work that's giving me different things.
I agree.
Oh, thank you, Kenny. We're opponents now.
We are opponents. It's very true.
We are gonna have to talk.
Hey, we better move them a little further on.
If you could just move my square to where I'm barely peeking up.
We're so I know that Mike also liked the stuff with Ahsoka. Ken's just taking himself off camera. Where Ahsoka did.
Oh no, you can. No, we need other voices.
Yes, we need more. More voices, more white voices.
More white voices.
Yeah, I'm filling that component.
Right.
You're filling.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's wait.
Yeah, Mike was saying that he liked when Ahsoka stabbed the ground with her sabers and then like used the force to like push the. You know. If you ever need to do some marble cutting, just call.
Well, it brings up-
should be there to help you out.
That was cool.
It was a
I
cool
like that.
visualization, but it also brings up another question I've had with this and like Harry Potter. It's like, do they just walk around doing the magic to, instead of like reaching for this book, just like, okay, I got it,
I would.
and just like,
Yeah, I would. I would 100%.
Yeah. all
Why
the
look
time.
for the opening of that temple when you can just cut a hole in it and make?
oh, I agree. And then she jumps in and cuts it and pulls everyone down, which was funny and cool at the same time.
Made
Very
5 more
cool.
openings.
Very cool.
Very
And then those
cool.
robots blow up a whole planet somehow.
Which, for anyone that's played the Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order games, her doing like all like the temple kind of like puzzles and stuff in that to moving stuff around and to get like the sphere. That there's like a thing very similar to that in one of the levels of the Jedi Fallen Order games with Cal. Also, well, spoiler alert. Also, another person that's gotten stabbed in the gut and has also survived.
Who hasn't now? Like,
Yeah. I mean,
it's becoming
Qui-Gon.
like, okay, you didn't get stabbed, you're weird.
you didn't get stabbed, Kenny. Yes, you're not in a club.
Yeah. Not a club I want to be in.
It's all about the pain, man. It's all about the suffering and the repressed trauma.
Hey, I suffer a lot. There's still Star Trek DVDs that I don't have on my shelf. All right?
I suffer so much.
It's awful.
Speaking of that temple, by the way, Dark Sister Temple, Witches of Dathomir,
Oh, yeah.
my favorites.
Which Mike had a comment about our Night Witch who appeared in this episode about her name.
They phoned in her first name. I'm sorry. You have all these Star Warsy names, and they're like, Morgan.
I mean,
Again, Luke.
Luke.
I'm not saying it didn't happen before, but you have all this other stuff, and then just like they get the one name, they're like, yeah, I got nothing. Morgan, Luke.
Sounds
Okay.
like a witch name to me. Like Morgana
Oh, yeah.
Le Fay,
Yeah,
Morgan Le Fay.
Yeah, Morgan.
Yeah, I was thinking about Morgan Le Fay.
Oh,
That's what
I think
thought
there's
of.
I can't take credit for this, but I watched
Yes,
one
you can.
Screen Crush
Take
thing
it.
where
Take
he
it.
was
Take
bringing
the credit.
up Macbeth a lot because of like with
So
Balin and Shin because I didn't write down their last names, but like their last names are the wolves within.
Wasn't it Skull and something like that?
Yeah, Skull.
Here's what I liked about the episode. His
That
last
it
name
ended?
was Skull. That's cool.
that what?
His last name
Skull.
was Skull, but of course it was spelled Star Wars like. But love
Skull.
it. I love it when it's just silly names like Maul, Vader, Palpatine, Skull.
Skull.
Give it to me.
Solo.
Put it in my veins.
Solo.
Put it in my veins.
Yeah.
See,
Really-
his name is Solo because he was
he's
alone
alone.
now.
Kill
Really,
me.
really quick. Fusum asked who was behind the mask of Merrick. I think it's Sam Witwer as a homage and Easter egg to Galen Merrick from the Force Unleashed video games. Because Sam Witwer also did do a voice. He's credited in the credits of the movies
Yeah, you're probably right.
or the episode. But it could be. I don't know. Sam Witwer's all over the place in Star Wars. He's probably played.
Everything.
I mean,
But
Clancy
most importantly,
Clancy Brown. I also already brought up, but he's also played many characters in Star Wars.
Clancy Brown having a good year for being in live action with being in John Wick 4. He's in Ahsoka. I always love seeing Clancy Brown. It's great.
Especially
It's
from
definitely
Webster
has to
last
be
year.
Sam Witwer under that helmet. It's gotta be.
I hope it's Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Also, why is there? I mean, that has to be the last Inquisitor.
Yeah.
It's at post Return. It's like 5 years post Return of the Jedi, at least. That's that he or she or whoever is under that mask or they.
Can we also talk about how they were standing, by the way? That whole like jaunty shoulder down with like cape on the side thing. Like it was so sexy. Like genuinely sexy. I was like, oh my God. Exciting. We're gonna have some fight. We're gonna fight now. You know? It just looked great. I was just I really enjoyed that scene. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed because what point was that in the second episode? That was in the second episode,
Yeah.
right? They're all the same.
We can just kind of interweave because they're because part of
We've
that
had
I
no-
liked too.
Focus.
Well, part of that I liked too is when they go to like retrieve the lightsaber, like come flying back at them, where Ahsoka's just like,
she just moved, and it was also sexy. I really liked that entire sequence. I liked her fighting down there. I thought it was really good, and I loved Hera and Phantom with Chopper trying to get the tracker on the ship. I loved it because Hera
"Did you go through my stuff?"
Yes, so good. Hera truly is actually the best fighter pilot. Like, she's the best pilot in the galaxy. Like, she really is. And so it's just like, as soon as it starts happening, I was just like, yeah. I love it. Let's see some great flying. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she like grew on me. My only like pet peeve was, I think, her like green Twilight makeup should be like, she should have like some like shading. It's just green. I was just like, it's kind of weird. But I started to like, Kenny is making a face like he wants to throw up on my face.
Put me above
Making
Aspen so I can do that.
the De Niro face.
Don't do it, man.
I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah.
She always rocks a goggle, you know.
Always rocks a goggle.
She
Yeah,
does.
Well,
that's
whether it's Scott Pilgrim or as
Scott Pilgrim.
Right.
She's just not good in the show.
My dude. I think she's good in this show.
I think you're good in the show.
I would be
I think
great
they
in
should have
this show.
cast you. I think
Thank
they
you.
should have cast you.
I would have been
they did.
great.
She's Sabine.
I'm all yeah. I would have been
Aspen is
great.
Sabine.
I would be great as all the roles. I would come in and I would just play them all, and I'd be like,
I think you would be best as Chopper, though, with waving arms.
yeah, I do wave my arms around a lot. I am
Chopper,
grumpy.
war criminal, wanted to drop the ship on the entire planet. He's like, yeah.
He just wanted to like drown that ship. Yeah, that dude is chaos, and I love him. I love that little butthead.
Very tangible.
Yeah.
A tactile Chopper, yes.
Tactile, tangible chopper.
I posted this on Holdo's Instagram yesterday. I didn't edit it, but the an account Nerd Chronic did it, and so that there's that sequence with Sabine on her speeder bike going down, that long road to the field on Lothal.
The field.
Well, I've always thought it's weird on Lothal. It's just like this highway that just goes to
It
the
is.
field that then goes to like where Ezra was living.
Yeah, that's how
Someone edited it, so they took out the music.
That was the end of city limits. They didn't need to build any more road.
Well, that's where they communicate, because it used to be a communications tower, so they would need a road to get out there, right?
Logical.
They chat GPT'd all the names.
Morgan.
Morgan.
But yeah, so like the music that they put in there was Beastie Boys Sabotage.
Very good.
So
Hey,
Oh,
if anyone,
good.
if you've seen the
Star
J.J.
Wars.
Abrams Star
Star Trek.
Trek with Kirk on a motorcycle
a good
playing the
movie.
Sabotage.
it is a good movie. I liked that scene as well. Again, Sabine, sad boy Sabine.
Mhm.
Also taking risks, Sabine. I mean, just imagine though. I saw a tweet that was like, it's actually really funny, like at this point, to think of like Sabine, like trained in the dark saber, like famed Mandalorian general, and she is like, here she is, and she's just like, I'm bummed out, and I was a Padawan, and not anymore. And I think from like a position of everybody basically being at their lowest, here we are, so.
And one of the other things too here with that, like when Sabine fights Shanti, is that Shanti?
Yeah.
Shanti. I don't
Shin.
know her Shin.
Banks, just call her Banks.
Yeah, thanks.
That's what I call her, call her Banks.
I liked that sequence there. I thought it was kind of lit pretty cool. Just with it being at night. And I liked how, it had the two different like levels to it, like where it started up with the droids, effed all that stuff up and went down.
It was a good fight too.
I like that she's using Ezra's lightsaber with that.
Yes.
I do wonder if they're ever like within like the next, we have 6 episodes left of it, if they'll go back on that at all anymore, since that was never like a thing with Ahsoka or Sabine within Rebels, if they'll touch more on that, or if like Sabine actually does have any force sensitivity at all, or if it's just
right.
because Ahsoka doesn't really care. She'll just train. She's not really a Jedi, so she doesn't really care.
That's what we said.
With talking about like how Sabine was stabbed, I did notice with that it seemed like if Shin had wanted to, because she killed those people earlier in the episode, that if she wanted to, she would have killed Sabine, but she made like a precision stab where she like gets her like in that side. And my wife pointed out, if I don't know if anyone else has watched Our Flagmane's Death.
Yes.
But
Yes.
there's the whole scene in that where like Ed is teaching Steed how to get stabbed safely, explaining that he survived dozens of stabbings by taking the blade on the lower left side of his abdomen, where he claims there are no important organs. So I was like, maybe it's like she just knew Shin knew where to stab her.
Or maybe, yeah. Listen.
Except
I know it's up
don't
here.
Build up. Don't play that as the emotional climax of the freaking end of the episode. And you're like, she's got to be dead. Status quo is changing. And then she's fine. False. You're doing it because the structure of the episode demands it, as opposed to wanting the audience to feel a certain way. It evaporates the tension instantly in a way that feels so dishonest.
I think it could have been really like brave in a way that these, like, it can't be like to just kill off Sabine, like given everything. I still think it achieved what it was actually going for in an emotionally resonant way, which is to be like, she's not like, she's failed bad. Like she badly failed and like she really screwed up. And to like kind of dig into that even a little bit more, like I think kind of goes to show like a person who is like feeling lost without like a mentor figure and was abandoned and cannot fight and like, or like lost this fight because of it. And then, yeah, I think it does kind of like relieve the tension a little bit in the next one for her to have like been better faster. But like, I still feel like I was like, shit, yes. I didn't even expect her to get like stabbed. So from that, yes, I'm here to fight now. I'm here to fight.
We got about a minute and a half left, so finish your fighting.
Oh no. I liked it a lot.
I hated it.
Well, yeah. So some of the other stuff I liked in the second episode too is I brought up like when we started was I liked the Stone Temple like rock circle, but I did think that was like very like, I watch Outlander with my wife, so I was like, oh, they're gonna travel through time through these. Although they do mention like time and space with the rocks there too, so I don't know. And also, you brought up the Purgle earlier too, where it's like on the map that it shows there, it's like the Purgle going around in a circle. And in the World Between Worlds, I remember there was like something similar to that with the wolves, and that. So I don't know if that's supposed to be like symbology that's related to the World Between Worlds. So I guess we'll probably find that out. Maybe. I do like your theory about it, like the galaxy far, far away, just being like the Milky Way galaxy.
They just like show up and it's like
the end of it is like the end of Blazing Saddles.
With the French mistake.
Yeah, they just land at Skywalker Ranch and George is in his office sitting there, and they're like, but it's like 1975 George Lucas.
Yes.
And he's like, we have a story to share with you. You need to sit down, and he starts writing it down, and it says the journey of the Journal of the Wills.
Incredible.
The story of Luke Skywalker.
Starwalker.
Yeah. At that point, it was Anakin Starkiller.
Yeah,
Starkiller.
Starkiller base.
Starkiller. Oh yeah, Starkiller base. Starwalker. Whatever.
I really liked David Tennant as Niang. Again, on this, you kind of is like feeling like an Alfred to Batman
Oh.
vibe with Ahsoka in this.
I gotta tell
like
you,
that.
I literally didn't hear her say his name, but I heard his voice breaking up, and I immediately went, "Is that David Tennant?" Because I can recognize that man's voice from
David
like
Tennant also having a good year between
Good Omens.
Good Omens 2, Ahsoka, and then he's gonna have the Doctor Who 60th anniversary in November too. So he's got
also
got a-
supporting trans kids. What
yeah.
a hero!
yeah.
Love that dude.
He had my favorite line of the second episode where he said Sabine and Ahsoka were poor Padawans. Like poor Jedi or something like that.
Yeah,
And Ahsoka would have been like,
I
"You're
was
not
like-
wrong. I'm not a Jedi." So
I was like, that's just. See, he was just like, I'm being blunt and just like, on the head, you suck. Sorry.
they
Yeah,
are.
you just gotta want to do the work, right?
They're all a mess. I want this show to just be an exploration of emotional challenges and grief. I would be so happy.
and then I think the last thing was that I liked how like the ending of that second episode was almost a live action recreation
It was.
of Mike noticed that they added a step. There's a fourth, and also there's some slight differences between the animated version and the live action version of this. Like Sabine puts on her helmet, and that Ahsoka is Gandalf the White at the end of the Rebels version. And this, she doesn't have the staff.
Yeah, Kenny, look, I don't know if you're like, I actually, when I was watching this, I was so in literal step. That's what he was saying. Like at the very end of Rebels, it's like this sort of like epilogue type thing, but
Yeah,
you
no,
don't know.
I
Okay.
watched it.
Okay, well, just for other
I
folks,
watched
yeah.
Rebels.
If you just like, if you don't like, it doesn't. It never says when in time that is, which Mark, I think you brought up last week. So it's like that was the moment in time. She Mulans her hair, and then
Mulans.
and then she's like, "Time to go." So it's cool.
Throw some food on the floor for the cat and walks
I know
away.
who's gonna watch the cat. Does she have a cat sitter? Does she call Rover? What does she do? She's got to schedule someone. Sorry, I'm getting really worried about the Loth cat.
She just needs to create like some kind of machine like Doc Brown did for Einstein.
Yes.
Also, Kenny had a good joke that I think we should close this with before we give everybody's info. I'll let you read off your joke. The dramatic reading of Kenny's joke.
My joke?
You
Yeah.
put it in the chat.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
I just told myself, very good. If Hera and Ahsoka were in the Stone Temple, they'd be Stone Temple pilots.
It's very good, Kenny. That's very
Very-
good.
I'm a good boy.
Sometimes.
I'm not sad being because of that.
I'm not sad bean.
Also, another one of Kenny's jokes.
Yeah, I have.
In the future, Kenny will be writing all of our dad jokes. He doesn't know that, but he now has applied and been hired and has a 401k pension for that job.
I don't even
Also,
have that.
Also the 401k pension will be paid in Republic credits that only exist within the Star Wars universe. So
I gotta say, Republic credits. Republic
But,
credits are no good here.
you know, if that
They're like
map,
Jeffrey dollars.
if that map makes it to us, then you're good because then they'll be here and then you can go back with them and use those Republic credits. So there you go, Kenny.
Republic credits are no good here.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Credits are no good here.
It's so dense. Every image has so much going on.
Okay, now it just doesn't feel funny. It feels sad, Kenny.
We need the Hulk sad walking away music right now.
We're gonna talk about this later.
So, any last positive thoughts on Ahsoka? Brief,
Positive thoughts.
lightning positive thoughts as we wrap out. Kenny first, or Ken? You want to go last, Kenny? So because it might
Yeah,
take
I
a
wanna
while.
go
I want to go last. I don't want
I
to
wanna
go.
go last. I
Okay,
wanna-
then I'll go first. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
There. All right. And if you enjoyed it, you're allowed to enjoy it too. Kenny would also say that because Kenny's a nice
would.
guy. And even if he didn't like it, that doesn't mean that he's not a nice guy. That's because art is subjective. So
No, it's a binary.
if you're
Art's a binary.
Art is a binary. It's either
It's
good or
truly a
bad.
binary. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
either good or bad. It's keep me ranked 1 to 10.
all right. Well, Sabine's mural is good
It's very good.
because it's art, and
Well-
Thrawn would agree because he's into art too. So
He is
go ahead, Mike.
weird.
True.
I enjoyed it for just because it made me want to learn more about the stuff that I have not watched. I'm curious to see where it goes, and I'll hold judgment until I've watched it all at least twice, and then decide good or bad.
I like the bald guy in the shipyards. He was awesome.
I've decided.
Bald
Oh,
guys
sorry.
unite. I was just gonna say bald guys unite.
I've
I said
decided.
bald, by the way, to not ball. Bald.
Bald guys.
Bald guys
Bald
unite.
guys. Bald guys uniting.
I'm such a bald guy. Oh my gosh.
Okay. I just went through a little. I knocked over my water. I just went through a little journey. So,
Do you want the floor?
listen. At first, I was like, "It is foolish of me. It is foolish of me to be like, yes, this show it caters to me. It appeals to me. It should be appealing to everyone, and then I'm being like one of those like fanboys that's annoying and is like, you don't understand, and that's like silly, right? But you know what? I'm not going. Like, I'm taking this one. This is like for me, and I'm taking it, and I'm running with it, and I'm gonna enjoy every moment of it, and I'm not going to feel bad for loving it. And also, Kenny, you don't have to feel bad for not liking it either, obviously.
Oh,
But
believe me, I don't.
I take it back. Feel bad. Feel real bad. Yeah, because you know what? Because I think I'm always a little bit like, yeah, let's actually look at this objectively in some ways. Like, this wouldn't be appealing in X, Y, and Z way. And I don't want to be one of those people that's like, this is my Star Wars, get out of here. And I'm not doing that. But I do think I'm like, you know what? This feels like it is specifically appealing to me, and I'm going to take it. So. The end. Thank you for letting me have the floor. Last.
Absolutely.
All right. So that was episode 51 of the Hold Maneuver, talking about the Ahsoka series premiere. We thank you to Trek Wars again for joining us for this episode. Where can everybody find you guys online?
You can follow us on Instagram at Trek Wars Pod. Additionally, if you love hearing more of our dulcet tones, you can listen to us on the podcatcher of your choice. Just type in Trek Wars. We should be the first result, or in search engines, we're going to be the third result. Right now, our SEO is putting us below Trek Wars the movie, but we're working on it. All right. And then additionally, if you love our dulcet tones so much, hop over to our Patreon, patreon.com/TrekWarsPod. Kick us a couple bucks. And if you kick us enough of a couple bucks, you can access an exclusive tier where you get early episodes and exclusive extended episodes that you can't find on the free feed. And you can join the auspices of fine folks such as Mark Bibbert. Thank you for your patronage, Mark.
Yeah.
Should we fight about Ahsoka more on the Patreon?
I think we should.
Okay.
I think we have to work.
I was going to say,
through
I think we got to have them back at the end of the series, at least.
I think we have to work through this conflict so that it doesn't become something worse, because we haven't talked out our feelings.
I agree. It'll be
Mike, you got to drop
that.
that Patreon money so you can hear them resolve their conflict.
Yeah, well, that's it. Sign up for our Patreon so you can hear us talk about our feelings publicly with a couples therapist.
And then if you liked the Hold Maneuver, you can find us on the podcast catcher of your choice. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us right now, that's where you can find us. On Twitter, I'm not going to call it anything else. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at HoldoPod. Will eventually be on Blue Sky too someday. I myself am on Blue Sky. Eventually, the rest of these people may be as well if they want invites.
I'm waiting for that invite so bad.
They take so long to be given.
Since I've been off Twitter, it's been very nice.
Probably
I
very,
found
very good
that
for
my
your mental
productivity has skyrocketed, which is so wonderful. Although I feel like my pulse is
Still on
very
Twitter.
far away from what's going on politically.
Have you ever seen a toilet back up and just keep overflowing? That's what's going on politically.
Yes.
You can always check Reddit.
Yeah.
No.
So,
On that
famous
note.
last lines. Mike's favorite part of the episode. As always, we are grateful to George Lucas for creating the Star Wars universe.
Oh dear, thank the maker.